For lesson 16, we are going to do basically what we were doing with lesson 15, adding measurements using the standard algorithm, but instead of having to compose larger units once, this time we're going to have to do it twice. So what that means is instead of having to carry one time, we're going to have to carry twice. So let's go ahead and get started. We're just finding the sums for all of these problems. Something that our standard algorithm tells us that we have to do is to line up our place values. So I'm just going to do the first row with you guys, and then I will let you go ahead and do the second, third, however many are left rows on your own, and then you can go back and just check your answers. So we line up our place values, 52, and notice I'm leaving room at the top in case I have to carry, which I know I'm going to have to do because that's what my objective tells me. It tells me I'm going to have to do it twice, actually. So I lined up my place values. You can see my 1s are with my 1s, my 10s are with my 10s, and I don't have any hundreds. So now my standard algorithm also tells me that I need to add like place values. So I'm starting in my 1s column, so the opposite of when I'm reading. So when I read this way, but when I add or subtract, I do it this way. So I'm doing 2 plus 8. 2 plus 8 is 10. So I learned that I can either carry here or I can carry down here. Whichever method is easier for you. I'm going to practice with that new way that I just learned. So I'm going to write a crooked 10. Now I'm going to add 5 plus 6 plus 1. 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 1 more is 12. And I don't have to carry my 12 because, or my 10 from my 12 because there's no hundreds. Alrighty, and then I need my label, and I circle my answer to make it easier to find. And that's it for that one. So let's move on to our next one. Now our next one is very similar to this first one, except I have hundreds this time. So I have 352, whereas last time I only had 52 milliliters, plus 68. Now, I don't have any hundreds in 68, so I can't start in my hundreds column. I have to start in my tens. I have to line up my place values. 68. And you can even start off by writing your label if that helps, then you don't have to worry about it anymore. Okay, so now, again, I'm going to add like place values. 2 plus 8. We know from before that 2 plus 8 is 10. So I'm going to write a crooked 10. I also know from earlier that 5 plus 6 plus 1 is 12. But this time I can't just write 12 because I now have a place value that I can carry to. I have a hundreds column this time. So I need to carry that extra 10 to make my 12. Now I need to add 3 plus 1, and that is 4. So 420. And now I'm not doing a very good job of writing my numbers down low with that carrying method because I'm not used to doing it that way. So I'm going to try harder on this next one to make sure it looks a little bit nicer. Okay, so I have 352 milliliters again. And this time instead of adding 68, I'm adding 468. So since I have a hundreds column with the 4, I can start in my hundreds column here and line up all my numbers. Okay, so see how I left myself a little bit more room this time before I didn't do that. So I'm hoping that helps my problem be a little clearer to understand. Alright, so you'll notice that I have, again, very close to the same problem. I have my 2 plus 8. That was a crooked 10. 5 plus 6 plus 1 was a crooked 12. And this time I have 3, but I'm adding a 4 plus a 1. So 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So my answer is 820 milliliters. And that is all we're doing on these problems. So if you feel comfortable enough to go and try the next ones on your own, you're going to see similar patterns with your numbers. then you can go ahead and try that. And if not, if you want to stay with me, I'll walk you through them. But if you're trying them on your own, please come back and check your answers to make sure that your work matches mine. Do not go through and just copy, but try them on your own. Make sure your work matches mine. If it doesn't, you can listen to my explanation of the problem and try to catch where you made your mistake. Alright, if you're going on your own, good luck. If not, let's get back to work. So, 56 plus 94. Let's line up our place values. And this time we're doing centimeters. Make my line. Alrighty, and now we're ready to add. So again, I start on my ones column. 6 plus 4 is 10. So this time I'm going to use the method where I carry to the top. So I write a crooked 10. Now I have 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 5 is 15. Okay, so if you were doing a problem the other way, you could also have carried down on your line as well. Just showing our couple of options. You use whatever method works best for you though. Now for this problem I have 100, 506. For 94 I don't have any hundreds, so where am I going to put my 9? My 9 goes in my tens column, 94. Because there are no hundreds in this number. Okay, so again, 6 plus 4 is a crooked 10. 0 plus 9 is 0. Plus 1 is 10. 5 plus 1 is 6. So an even 600 centimeters on that one. Now both of my numbers this time have hundreds in them, so I'm going to be all lined up again. That's nice. It makes it less difficult for us. And again, you can see I'm writing my label first so I don't forget it later. 6 plus 4 we knew was 10. 9 plus 1 is 10. And 5 plus 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So a nice even 900 centimeters on that one. $697, G for grams, plus, and I have hundreds, so 138. Start in our ones column. 7 plus 8 is 15. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 6, 7, 8. 835 grams. You can see that whenever I'm writing my numbers, I like to write just like I'd be writing a 15, just like I'd be writing a 13. So it still feels like I'm writing that number. 345 grams, 597 grams. If you're still having a hard time with your place values, don't forget you can draw lines in between them. Okay, and we can even draw one here. So now you can see your numbers. 5 plus 7. So it wouldn't make sense to write 12 because I can't have two numbers, right? So that's why I write my 1 over here and my 2 down here. So you can see it still looks like 12. 4, well, 9 plus 1, that's a tens. So 9 plus 1 is 10. 14. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 942. Okay, so you always have those line options too. If if you're still finding it a little difficult to line everything up, feel free to use those lines to help you out. We'll draw them again on this one. Draw your lines between all your place values there. So we have our ones column, 6 plus 7 is 13, 9, 10, plus 8 is 18, 4 plus 4 is a doubles fact, 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. So 983 grams. For these last two, you can see that we have liters and milliliters, kind of like before when we did, I think it was kilograms and grams. So same rules apply. Just line up your place values here. So I'm lining up my place values with my liters, and then I'm lining up my place values with my milliliters. So it's the same thing. Okay. 1 plus 9 is 10. And if it helps to draw a line between here, you can, to separate the two. And then you can draw your lines in here to separate your place values. If that gets a little confusing, just leave them separate. It doesn't matter. You can even make them two different addition sentences. Okay. 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 1 more is 8. So now I'm done with my milliliter side, and now I just need to do 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, circle your whole thing, because your whole thing is the answer. Okay, so this next one does have grams and kilograms. So let's write them as kind of two separate problems. So 4 kilograms, 384 grams. And then I have 2 kilograms, 467 grams. Okay, so I can do this one as an addition problem, and this one as an addition problem. So I have grams and kilograms. I'm still going to start over here. 4 plus 7 gives me 11. 8 plus 6, 14, plus 1 more is 15. And then 3 plus 4, 7, 8. 4 plus 2, 6. So 6 kilograms, 851 grams. Hopefully you noticed in all of those problems that if you look, we talked about having to regroup or carry or compose larger units twice. So you can see that with our two lines when we were carrying, that we had to compose larger units twice on all those problems. Now, these we only did it one time because we only had one place value to carry to. So when you have two digits, you're not carrying twice here, but we carried the other time here. So there was one and there was one. There's one and there's one. So that one looks just a little bit different. Lane makes sauerkraut. He weighs the amounts of cabbage and salt that he uses. Draw and label a tape diagram to find the total weight of the cabbage and salt Lane uses. So he uses 907 grams of cabbage and 93 grams of salt. So notice in the tape diagram, of course we know they're a rectangle. I made this side bigger because my number is bigger, and this side smaller. Now they're not exactly proportional, but they're close. And then I need a spot for my total, right? So I'm going to label it with a T for total. And I can even write an equal sign there. Total equals. So how am I going to find the total? Well, if I have both parts of my tape diagram, that means I'm going to be adding. So I need 907 grams plus 93 grams. And remember, I'm lining up my place values. So I don't have any hundreds with this number. Therefore, I need only tens and ones. 7 plus 3 is 10. 9 plus 1 is 10. And 9 plus 1 is 10. Ooh, so this is new. I'm not going to carry, well I could, but I'm still writing a crooked 10. So I have exactly 1,000 grams. Anybody know another way to write 1,000 grams? 1 kilogram, right? So I could write either. So I could say the total is 1,000 grams or 1 kilogram. That's a neat one. Sue bakes mini muffins for the school bake sale. After wrapping 86 muffins, she still has 58 muffins left cooling on the table. How many muffins did she bake all together? All together is a really important word for a problem. It's going to tell me whether I need to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So all together means I'm going to add. And it doesn't tell me I have to do any pictures with this problem. So I'm just going to line up my place values and add. 86 plus 58. 6 plus 8 is 14. 5 plus 8 is, or 8 plus 5 I should say, 13 plus 1 more is also 14. And don't forget a label. And circle. You could also write your answer out in a sentence. You could say Sue baked 144 muffins altogether. Number 4. The milk carton to the right holds 183 milliliters more liquid than the juice box. What is the total capacity of the juice box and the milk carton? Alright, so if I need to know the total capacity of both of these, I need to know what each one weighs. And I only know the juice box, so I need to find the weight of the milk carton. If I know that it is more, am I going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Well, I'm definitely going to need to add, because if I've got more of something, I'm adding, not subtracting. So this is actually going to be a multi-step problem. First, I have to find the weight of the milk carton, then I need to find the total weight of the two of them together. If the milk carton holds 183 milliliters more than the juice box, what do I need to do with those two numbers? I need to add them. So I have 183, and we're doing milliliters, plus 279. You can see here that I've lined up my place values. 3 plus 9 is 12. 8 plus 7, 15. Plus 1 more is 16. And then 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. Now, am I going to circle my answer and say that I'm done? No, because that's just the weight of the milk carton. So over here, I'm going to write 462. Now, I can find the total capacity of the juice box and the milk carton by adding. When I'm finding the total, I'm adding 279 plus 462. Nine plus 2 is 11. 7 plus 6, 13, plus 1 is 14. 2 plus 4, 6 plus 1 is 7. So I'm going to circle my final answer of 741 milliliters. Okay, that was a lot of work that we just went through, but hopefully you were able to work on some of those problems on your own and come to the right answer. If not, why don't you give it a try again at home tonight for extra practice and see if you can get through them on your own at home tonight. Don't forget to save these problems, and if you didn't have time to get them finished today, please finish them at home tonight. Good work. Thanks for following along. Don't forget to save as M2L16.